And let's start by having all the panels introduce themselves. Unfortunately, Tommy Kovac, who is a writer and an artist, got stuck in traffic and he is not going to make it. But we will have a good time with everybody here. So, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. I'm Dusty Sage. I'm a founder and micechat.com.
Oh my God, I love you!
No, MiceChat is the largest of the Disneyland fan sites. We've expanded out to Disney World, all the parks around the country, and some non-Disney theme parks as well. And we're big supporters of the gay and lesbian community, as we were primarily founded by all gay people.
Great. I have it bookmarked in my phone, and I have it in my computer.
Yeah, you should start and get the gay on.
I like it too.
I'm William O. Tyler. I'm a comic book artist and writer that's hugely inspired by Disney, and I'm also a puppeteer for Disney.
Fantastic. My name is Worthy Meacham. Many of the homosexuals in this room know me as Mama. I still have pretty nails, even as a boy. In 1983, I was the 87th person to get an annual pass to Disneyland. And I'm one of the founding members of Gay Days at Disneyland. And I worship the Disneyland. That place in Florida in the swamp, not a fan of. But Walt's original Magic Kingdom, I'm a big fan of.
Great, thank you. We tried to get Eddie Shapiro from Gay Days here, but unfortunately he's doing a convention in New York, so he sends his regards. So, why Disney's popular all over the world with everybody, with all people, young and old, and all different nationalities and communities and everything. But why do you think Disney, Disneyland, Disney characters, Disney films are popular, especially popular with the LGBT community?
Worthy?
Well, I think when you are GLBT, growing up, knowing that you're different, I knew I was different when I was 6, and everybody told me I was different when I was 6. Disneyland and Disney characters were always a safe place for me. And even in my teens, when I got my annual pass, Disneyland was the only place I found that could be safe. I couldn't go to a mall, because malls weren't safe, because I could get harassed by people at malls or parks or whatever. But at Disneyland, I found a safe haven, and I really connected with their characters. It's really interesting, because my mother said that the first time I went to Disneyland was when I was 3, and that I never got over. And it's kind of true. I can go to Disneyland every day of the week and still have the magic. Even on days like today when it's red and a lot raining and a lot of tourists there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for me it's an escape from the real world. I grew up in the Midwest, and it was never really okay for me to be gay or out, and there really were no places for me to go until I was old enough to get into bars where I could see and know that we're other gay people. But at Disneyland, you just always feel comfortable and welcomed, and you never feel that there's any threat of attack or bigotry or homophobia. In fact, it feels very gay at Disneyland all the time. But in a much safer way than even the gay bars.
Put your finger on what makes it?
I think it's the attention to detail. Think about this. Gays love theater. Disneyland is a show. From the moment you get there, it's set dressing, it's fabulous costumes. The cast members are all in character. There are characters everywhere. The park was built to be like a production. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I think that appeals to gay people, whether or not they realize that consciously or subconsciously. I think they get there and think, oh wow, I belong
Yes, it's definitely a spectacle, and in addition to that, you are in this ideal world where anything can happen. You're in the fantasy of it, and everything's just overly romantic.
Is it still romantic when you have your hand up a puppet's butt all day?
It is, actually. I have to speak sweet nothings to that puppet first.
Ted, I just want to say that when Ted and I were growing up, I mean, I see a lot of young people here. When I say young, under 40. When I was growing up, I was told by counselors that being gay was a mental illness, was that I would grow up being a drug addict, an alcoholic, and I would die alone. I was told that by my high school counselor.
Up until 1964.
Well, right, no, but and I'm not that old. But I mean, really, it wasn't until the 80s where we broke into this more gay-friendly world. But before that, Anita Bryant had a lot of power in the 70s trying to squelch what was going on in the modern gay movement. But you could go to Disneyland and see a parade and oh my God, there's gay people here.
So, we're all guys up here.
I know.
Is it different? I mean, the LGBT community is a wide rainbow of people.
Yes.
So is it different for different parts of the community?
I think it is. I think that the younger gay people and gay men in general really love Disneyland. But I think the lesbians like California Adventure. My sister is lesbian, and a friend of ours who also works on the site, his sister is lesbian, and they both adore California Adventure and not so crazy about Disneyland. And I think it's because the gay men really appreciate more of the detail type stuff, and the lesbians appreciate more of the thrills and adventure stuff.
Does that mean if you're bi, you like both
first,
sides?
California Adventure is a lesbian park.
I'm sorry. Do you
Well, I think, it's really interesting because I think when people talk about Disneyland, Disney as a whole, when you come from a heterosexual point of view about Disney, it's always about children. Heterosexual men and women do the Disney thing and they buy the videos and all this stuff for their kids. Now, they'll tell you that they've watched those movies 1,000 times, but there's sort of a embarrassment maybe about enjoying Disney, as much. There's a lot of single heterosexuals that love Disney and are proud of it, but when you have kids, you kind of say, I watch Disney things and I enjoy Disney things for my children, And I think as we look at the different facets of the gay community and the community of the world as a whole, every facet definitely has something that they love about Disney, or there's all those haters. When we tell people, oh my God, I love Disney, then you're going to find those haters. Like, what? You're crazy, And it's just interesting. I think those of us who enjoy the theme parks, people think that we love to dress up and live in Fantasyland, and I'm like, how fucked up do you think I really am? But it's just interesting. I mean, we have a whole bear community, and they love Fantasyland, and they love all those things. And there's a whole group of people, like I have my friends Kelly over there and Dan, they love characters. Whenever there's characters in the park, they have to go take their pictures with the characters. I could care less about characters. It's always about theming and watching people. I love going to the parks to watch people.
Whether you are a character.
On your own, you are.
I chose the
people
scene
waiting
for better
to
lighting.
touch and take pictures with that one right there.
To that point, can I just ask, I love you in the tiki room.
Well, thank you. I love me in the tiki room too.
My very fast question, I know this isn't Q&A, but can't we get a sing-along at Carnation Center with you leading us in a sing-along during
Well, one, Carnation won't be there during Gay Days. That's when they start building Fantasy Fair.
Yeah.
Well,
another
Can't we set up a sing-along more?
we'll talk about it afterwards. I'm up for it, you know.